Hello, people. My name is Bob Friedenthal. I am the owner of mycity.com, and I call myself a LinkedIn junkie. I've been managing people's LinkedIn accounts for 15 years. I've got like 15 employees. And about 6 months ago, I started doing these video interviews. And it's been very, very interesting. We're getting wide reception to them. So we're going to start out with Mr. Burke Franklin. Introduce yourself, Burke.
Hi, Bob.
Almost blew that
Good
one.
to meet you. Good to see you again, Annie. I've already met you.
Yep. So tell us who you are. Give us your contact information.
Okay. I'm Burke Franklin. My company is businesspowertools.com, just as it sounds, businesspowertools.com. I'm in Santa Barbara, California. And for what it's worth, 30 years ago, I helped a friend win a deal with Apple. They wanted to see his business plan because at the time, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, had done a study, and they studied businesses that failed, and they found that 60% of the businesses that failed had no business plan. So Apple wanted to see his. And so we got the deal. And over the next year, I helped people with business plans. They weren't getting funded. And I really understood somehow the magic in there to help them sort out what it needed to be so investors would invest. And one of the investors was some of the significant venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. So Kleiner Perkins was one of the ones who invested in one of the plans I helped write. Anyway, over the year, I helped people with plans. And at one point, I thought, man, no wonder people hate reading business plans because most of them really suck because they don't have the information that you really need to have been able to invest. And so overall, at the end of the year, I thought, why don't I just take all this content I've developed and put it into or create a template that people could use to do it themselves, because you need to be the one who writes the plan and really understand it, because you see these guys flounder on the Shark Tank stage, being asked a question that I think is a softball, predictable question, but they look like a deer in headlights, and Mark Cuban or Mr. Wonderful will ask something like, do you have a business plan? Because it's obvious that they don't. They haven't thought through the business. And so, Biz Plan Builder, that's evolved into Biz Plan Builder, which is what I sell today. It's evolved over 30 years, and it's on our platform at businesspowertools.com, and it really helps people put together a business plan, because people just, for the most part, just don't know how, or they can't afford the time to take away from other things, and they don't want to pay somebody else. But this template, the real secret sauce is that most of it's written for you. The financial models are put together. It's just easier to edit than it is to write from scratch. So if you're not a writer, you don't have to worry about that. You can edit the thing, and it's very easy to do, and it puts together a really nice business plan. So
very interesting. Okay, so it's a plug and play, is what you're telling me. That you.
It is. We've had customers over the years. They've raised, literally by now, more than $3 billion have been raised from VCs, from angels. I think friends and family are probably the hardest, but it really puts together, it really gives you the credibility. You think about these deals, Fire Island, which was a complete disaster, WeWork, which was something or another, and then you have Theranos. So you really start wondering about some of these people raising all this capital. And so investors are skeptical, if not cynical, more than ever today. Yet every day they pray, please, somebody come in my office and give me a pitch for something I can fund. So there's that. So you've got to have the right thing. And I think many people think you can go raise tens of millions of dollars with a pitch deck and a smile. And maybe every once in a while somebody gets lucky and does that. But you've really got to tell a good story. You've got to have your numbers together. Really, you've got to speak numbers to the investors. And it's got to be something where you can show them this is such a slam dunk. If they pour money on it, it'll grow. And that's really where you want to be with that. And so that's really been the big success. But also for companies that are growing, you're successful, but the thing is just out of control, and you want to dial it in and get your team to collaborate with you, because it's collaborative and on a secure platform. And you can get all the ideas on the table. If you have to pivot and make changes, you want the input from as many people as possible. And it really enables you to put together a plan and a blueprint that everybody can follow. And now the business is coordinated and going together, and it gets you away from stalling out and gets everybody back in action in the direction you want to go.
I love it. I love it. So in many senses, what I do is I emulate what people do on social media. And it's usually about typing. But like I said, it's really reading you, getting to understand you, having you verbalize some of the stuff, which I think, based on what you do for a living, this should be a piece of cakewalk for you. So who do you want to meet?
I'd like to meet some people. I've met a few guys running incubators and accelerators. I think they would really benefit from having our platform because it would give them a consistent platform to use to have all of their cohort and their clients to use, and everybody would know where everything's located. All of our plans have a video of me in each section explaining what to do, so it saves a consultant or one of these incubators or business advisors a lot of time in explaining why these different aspects of the business plan are important and how they're going to help them grow, their company grow. And so I'd like to meet, business advisors, anybody who's working with clients where they think this guy needs a business plan. And I talked to one this morning. He's talking to these people. He helps them sell their companies, and they need a business plan. And so because that's kind of the brochure to sell the buyer on the upside, the benefits of this business has got a lot of room to grow. This is a good deal.
So business
So
brokers are
aspects of it.
so business brokers are a good opportunity for you too.
They are, yeah. The business broker doesn't want to write the plan because it'll be the business broker's plan. It needs to be the CEO's plan. And he also mentioned he's got a lot of clients where they're going to hand the business over to their son or daughter. And so what do they know about running the business? And this is really the playbook that the business can operate from. And anybody who takes it over can start there and run with it and build on that.
So startups and succession planners are also good opportunities for you. Boy, those are powerful keywords and key phrases.
Startups, unfortunately, they don't know what they're in for. They haven't been down the yellow brick road. Anybody who's built a startup before loves this because been there, done that, don't want to do that again. Yeah. And they want a tool to get there. They want to get the plan done. They want to have the plan is really the brochure to sell your business idea. It's not selling your product. Many people make the mistake of selling investors their product. Investors don't want to buy your product. They want to invest in your company. And so it's a different sales pitch, really, but it really is that brochure to sell a company. It could be to the bank or an SBA. The SBA wants to see your business plan. It could be, we had a guy, he used it, he wanted to raise capital to buy a couple of Learjets to start a jet charter service. This is really kind of off the wall, but instead, he found a guy who owned 2 Learjets, showed him the plan. Long story short, the guy gave him his planes. Now, how much trouble is it worth to go out and get like $5 or $6 million worth of aircraft for no money up front at all? And so that was one heck of a deal. So these days, there's all kinds of office space available that you can show a landlord. There's all kinds of equipment and things you probably make a deal if you have the right kind of plan showing that you really have your act together.
Right.
That's really the thing. And really for yourself to be able to look someone in the eye, knowing you've done your homework. So when Mark Cuban asks you a question on the Shark Tank, you got an answer.
Yeah.
Or lots of answers. Without feeling like you're arrogant or like you missed something and you know enough about the business to make sense to these people.
Yeah, I totally get it. I've been a startup several times, so I kind of get that game,
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know. Long story short,
we've got tips baked into it. Every section's got little bits of comments as if we're sitting next to you. And again, I have videos where I come in and say, this is what, if you're talking to an investor or lender, here's what they're looking for in this section. So you know why this section is important and what it means to your audience.
I love this. I'm enjoying this because, it goes straight to the heart when you're doing some of this stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, let's say the big question, I realize what it all boils down to. It all boils down to one question. And the question ultimately becomes, what's your deal worth? Like, I'm interested in investing. Tell me, what's your company worth now? Meaning, so let's say, for example, you can convince an investor that your business is worth $900,000. And they put in $100,000. Now the business, the pre-money, your 900 plus their 100 makes it worth $1 million. Okay, that means the investor gets 10% of the company. Simple. Okay. Now, what if you did a better job on the business plan? What if you got your team more congruent? What if you could tell a better story and you could convince the investor that your pre-money valuation was $1,900,000? Well, not only are you worth another $1 million, but now the investor puts in $100,000 and they get 5% of the business. What's it worth to have your business be worth another $1 million from the get-go, and then not give up as much money to the investors and have the investors love you even more? I think that's worth putting together a good plan.
I just had a phone call from a guy that I think should be talking to you too. I have to call him later. Um, you don't have any real restrictions. You can this product is sold everywhere, right?
As long as you speak English, for the most part, yes. We have guys in Australia using it. We've got a consultant in South Africa who's a farming expert, and he's working with a nonprofit in New York. It's a collaborative, a secure collaborative platform. It really also operates as a secure data room. So you can add an investor as a user, give them read-only access to your business plan.
Oh, wow.
They can come in, read your business plan, review your financial model, look at your pitch deck, watch your video, whatever you got. It's all there, and you always have the latest version up. So whatever they see is the latest thing.
So how long have you been working on this?
Oh my God! I started that little story I told about. Well, I was standing in the shower when I realized that these business plans suck, and no wonder nobody wants to read them. Why don't I make a template? That was 1988, so it's been evolving ever since. And it's just we evolved. We created a marketing plan to add to it. The business plan leaves off. We added a PR plan that includes sample press releases. And again, this is all already done for you. You're just it's kind of like a Betty Crocker cake mix. You add an egg and some water and cook it. And it's about that easy to work with. And so we added an employee policy handbook, which has saved a lot of people some serious legal hassles.
I love
Plus, it just educates people who've never managed before how to really handle some dicey issues. How do you just deal with all this stuff that goes on with managing people? It's just a lot. There's a lot real world stuff to it. And on top of that, we have a safety plan because OSHA wants to make sure you got a safety plan, and they'll come give you a courtesy visit, which is kind of like a highway patrolman pulling you over as a courtesy pullover and check your car, but that's not why they pull you over. They pull you over to give you a ticket.
Yeah.
And OSHA's in there because they're checking you out, making sure you've got the warning tape around the machine guarding is on, and do you have a safety plan? Do you have an injury and illness prevention plan? And if you're gonna get workers' comp, usually you can show that IIPP to the workers' comp sales guy, and you can get a better deal probably on your workers' comp insurance. So there's a lot of really good, strong, real-world, everyday, money-saving, time-saving benefits.
Yeah. Hey, Burke, do you belong to any networking groups?
I belong to a few. There's the Max team with Greg Sanders I belong to. There's V Team. It's vteam.com, which is an international group, and we meet once a week. And there's a dozen of us on these things. And there's different groups that are good for that. There's CEO Space, which I taught the business plan class there for 10 years.
Really?
And now it's all virtual. So there's those guys. I'm trying to think who else I know. There's Chambers of Commerce are a good one. Chambers of Commerce. Oh my God, you asked me who I'd like to meet. If Chambers of Commerce were to offer all of our tools to their members, not only would they make more money, but they'd help the members out dramatically. But Chambers of Commerce are pretty much fixated on membership dues. But there's all kinds of non-dues, non-dues things non-membership dues revenue you can generate for your organization. So if you got an association of entrepreneurs, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very, very much so. I'm enjoying this process because it's making the wheels turn, going back to some of my history, but I'm realizing that there's so much opportunity in what's out there right now. And that's what I hear from a lot of younger people, that they're all thinking in startups and how do I get involved in this stuff, So how do you take an idea from an idea to execution? That's the 90%.
Look at all the people who jumped ship from a company. I would want to plan my escape first before I give up my paying job, whether I like it or not.
Yep.
I'd want to plan my escape and think, okay, I got this business idea. Does this thing make sense? And we've had a number of, over the years, some boomers in the past who, in their retirement money think, I should start this idea. I've got this idea for a business. I'm bored. I've got my life savings. I could use that. And they've written us and said, this is the best investment I ever made because it proved to me that my business idea would never fly. Or as they say in Texas, this dog don't hunt. And so they said, this is the best money I ever spent because it showed me it wasn't going to fly, and I saved my life savings. Thank you very much.
Oh.
And so there's that. So I say plan your escape before you jump ship, and really you can model a whole business. The financial model is very easy to use. It's in Excel, so you can customize it all you want. Everything we have is fully customizable. thing I've probably ever bought myself. I've wanted to change it and tweak it.
Yeah.
And I've just found that everything we sell, everybody wants to tweak it. So, hey, make it tweakable from the get-go, and that's the way it is. And so it's very easy to do that. And we have a network of advisors who can come in and not just do it for you. They can do it, you can do it all yourself, which you can. And there's some room in the middle of that where people can do it with you. So you're getting just the help you need in the right places where you want it, where you can afford it. And it makes sense.
So you're giving referrals out all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, I think my objective is to cover an overview of exactly who you are and what you're doing. We covered who you want to meet. We covered who you have as a potential client, and all the important aspects of this. So why don't we, instead of being too elongated in our discussion, let's go back and talk, why don't you mention again your contact information if somebody wants to get a hold of you.
Okay, the company is just online, businesspowertools.com. Simple as that. There's a little 7.5-minute video that kind of gives you the overview, the overall idea, like what is this doing? It's a little unusual. It's a visual document management system full of templates that are already written for you. Most of the time you get, like in the SBA, you'll get a business plan, but it's a bunch of what I call empty buckets. Like, describe your management team here. Okay, what do I say? What does that sound like? How do I do that?
Yeah.
And we've already written it for you, so you get exactly what to say. You just tweak it to fit what you're doing.
Yeah.
Fill in your people's names.
Give us the rest of your contact, phone numbers.
Phone number is 800-346-5426. And my email address is Burke, B-U-R-K-E, @businesspowertools.com.
Fantastic.
I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
We've got some free stuff you can play with. We've got a spreadsheet. It's called How Much Is Enough. I was sitting in my office in Silicon Valley one day reading a story about some billionaire, and I thought, how much work is it going to take to be a billionaire? And I thought, well, wait a minute. How much money do I really need? So I put together this spreadsheet to list all the stuff I wanted to buy, do, have, and it's evolved into this thing. You can download it free off our website. It's kind of interesting to see how much money you need to buy, do, and have all the stuff you want. No judgment about what you want. Hey, if you want a super tanker, put it in there. I didn't really have a need for one, so that's not there. But airplane, boat, house, cars, yeah. So there's that. And we also have a spreadsheet that helps you sort out how much money do I need to start my business. So instead of having a top-down saying, hey, I need $1 million, you say, well, let me put together my shopping list of what it's going to cost to do all the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And you'll see what that's going to take.
Yeah.
And we also have a book called How to Gain the Advantage with Investors. And that's not to say gain the advantage over them. You're not going to gain that, but you are going to understand how to play the game. You understand what they're looking for. You understand how to talk to investors, what they want. So you can be the person they go, you know what, you get it. We want to invest in you. And that's really the holy grail there if you're looking for investors.
And the more that I listen and read, there's a lot of people that have either abandoned the company they were with because they got kicked and they're starting their own, but you got to know where you're going to go. So getting that plan in order is essential.
Yeah. If you want to sell your company, if someone's going to buy your company, why does a McDonald's franchise sell for so much? Because it's all dialed in. It's a turnkey operation. If you could show your company's got a business plan, you've got job descriptions in place, you've got agreements. Oh yeah, we have a bunch of agreement templates, about 165 of those, and about 50 different spreadsheets to do all the math. I say you can't do in your head. Like, what's the lifetime value of a customer? You can't do that you can sort of do it on an envelope. I don't think so. If you look at ours, there's more to it than that. But they want to buy a company that's like, it's turnkey, it's dialed in. You've got your employee policies in place.
Fantastic.
There's hopefully no lawsuits in the closet. You've got a safety plan in place. Everything to protect the business is there. So it's really a tight ship.
I already have people.
That's going to increase the value of your business.
I have, just in this conversation, I have people to introduce you to, which is pretty exciting in reality.
Yeah.
All right, so we got your contact information. If people want to contact me, my name on LinkedIn is Bob Holt, Holt, Friedenthal, Friedenthal. My phone number is area code 310-736-5787. That's a mobile number. You can call me or text me. My email is bob@mycity.com. I'm the owner of mycity.com. So, and I'm having fun at the end of the day. So thank you so much for your time, and don't get off. I'm gonna turn off our software. So hold on a second.